Hi guys, today I'm going to be teaching you all about land claims and everything there is to it. By the end of this video, you're going to be very well informed on how to use land claims. Land claims are a way to protect your personal belongings and your base. You can select a space in the world to claim as your own and then add other players into it if you want to share a place with another player. So let's get started. I found this really awesome jungle that I decided I want to claim, so let me show you guys how to do it. You're going to type a command in your chat /lands create, and then you're going to name your land. In this case, I'm going to call it Cool Jungle. After you type that command, you're going to see some green particles show up, and this is actually the first chunk that you've claimed. These green particles around me show the border of my land claim so I can know when it ends and when it begins. All of the blocks inside this square are protected from other players. If I was to step outside of this box, it lets me know I'm in the wilderness, and all of these other blocks are breakable by other players. If you want to claim more than one chunk within your land, you can type /lands claim radius, and then the amount of chunks around you that you would like to claim in every direction. If I type 1, it's going to claim 1 additional chunk in every direction, which is a total of 8 chunks because of the size of my land claim. If I walk out here, now these lands are also claimed as well, all of these different chunks, which is really, really helpful if you want more than just a really tiny claim. After you've made your claim as big as you'd like, you can start exploring your land settings to customize it to what you would like. To open your land settings, just type /lands and then select the land that you would like. If you only have one land, it will automatically pull up the next menu I'm about to click on, so don't worry. After I've left-clicked the land that I would like, you can see there's a bunch of different options here in this menu. We're going to start with basic land settings, which is this beacon right here. If I click on this beacon, it's going to pop up a few other options. The first option is the land name, and this is just what I named it earlier when I typed the lands create command. You can rename this later on if you decide you want to change the name, which is really helpful. Next, we have the enter message. The enter message is whenever players enter your land, what message will they receive? Category. There's a bunch of different categories in /lands list, and so if you want your land to come up in certain categories, you can specify this here in the setting. The icon is the icon of your land. When people type /lands list, or even whenever you open your land settings menu, this is the icon that your land will show as. So you can change it as another thing. So if I wanted to do the netherite pickaxe, I can change it to a netherite pickaxe, a piece of cobblestone, and so forth. If I want to return back to my main lands menu, I'll just click the red go back button, and this is going to take me back to the main menu. There's also additional settings that you might want to take a look at, and that's called the natural flag settings. After I click on it, you're going to see a bunch of different options. The first option is animal spawning, and this is just if you would like random animals to spawn within your land claim. You can click on it to turn it off, or you can click on it to turn it back on again. Block spreading from land. This allows other blocks to spread into your land or from your land. So things like amethyst, grass blocks, and maybe podzol, for example. Entity griefing. This is for endermen, creepers, and any other mobs that might destroy your land. You can turn this off or on. I'm not really sure who would like to have this on, but if you are one of those people, you can absolutely have this on. Fire spread. We have fire spread disabled within the server itself. Enabling this is not likely going to change the fire spread setting, so this probably won't do anything for your land if you're wondering why. Leaf decay. This is whether leaves decay within your land or not. If you have some custom trees that you've made or decorations with leaves and you don't want them to decay, you can turn this off. Monster spawning. This is for random mobs that might just pop up at nighttime. This does not apply to spawners. If you have a spawner, they will still continue to spawn even if they are disabled, which is really, really helpful. Phantom spawning. Would you like phantoms to be disabled? I'm pretty sure almost every person would want this, yes, unless they need an ingredient from one of the phantoms. Pistons from the wilderness. Do you want to allow pistons from the wilderness into your land or areas? Sometimes players might find other people trying to grief their land by using pistons. I really don't see this as much of an issue, but if it is for you, you absolutely can disable this. Plant growth. Do you want plants to grow, or do you want your plants to stay at a certain level within your claim for decoration purposes? You can disable or enable this. Snow melt. Pretty self-explanatory. Do you want your snow to melt? TNT explosions. Also very self-explanatory. Do you want TNT to explode in your land and break other blocks? Water and lava flow. Do you want water and lava to flow and spread after you've placed it down? And then wither attacking animals. I don't know who would spawn the wither in their land claims, but if you decided you wanted to do that, this would turn off whether the wither could attack your personal animals or not. After you set the land settings, you can go ahead and start setting up your roles. Roles are kind of like ranks or specific titles given to players that give them special permissions. There's a lot of different roles by default. There's untrusted, and this is players who are not trusted within your land. And you can select lots of different things like action flags, for example. Action flags are what allows the player to do specific things. Placing blocks, breaking blocks, igniting blocks, plants, all of these different settings are things that they can or cannot do based on what you choose to set. Management flags, these are flags specifically for people you would like to manage your land claim. I highly only recommend adding this for admins or owners within your land claim. Do not give this to untrusted players because they can start wars. They can change miscellaneous settings, your taxes. They can change other settings, trust players, untrust players, bans, all the things. So do not give this to untrusted players. Ally. This is somebody who is an ally with your land claim, especially if you have a nation. So somebody that you're friendly with, but you do not have trusted within your land claim. Nation. This is a nation. So nations are kind of like empires, and lands are cities within those empires. Nation settings are like nations whom you are allies with, or just other nations that you are not allies with. So sorry. These are the settings that they can and cannot do. A member is a player that is trusted at the base level, and this is players that are added to your land claim, and you can choose what settings you would like them to be able to access. Admin is somebody who you can also, again, choose the settings for this one. Admins typically are people who help you manage the land but are not the owners. Tenant. You can rent out certain sections of your land, which I will explain later on. And this is going to be settings for the tenants or people that rent out pieces of your land from you. Owner, this is going to be you. I highly do not recommend giving this role to anybody but you. If you decide that you would like to change the owner of your land, you can type /lands, set owner, and then the player's username if you would like to. You can also create additional roles if one of the roles does not give you what you would like to add. So say, for example, you wanted to make a mayor or you wanted to make a farmer, you can also add additional roles, or you can delete roles if you don't like one of the ones here. Also, if you click on one of the roles, so say if I clicked on member, in the role members, you can add other players or see who's actually in here. Rename, you can change the name of it. The icon, also very similar to before, you can change the icon. Add to new areas. So should people who are given this role be added to specific areas, and I'll explain areas in a second, they are small portions of your land, like a claim within a claim, where people are allowed to edit things in a specific area within your claim, but not the whole thing. Pay taxes. Does this role have to pay taxes? You can charge your members taxes and you can turn it off and on depending on which role they have. One of the most common questions we are asked is, how do I add my friend to my land claim? And this is how you do it. You'll go to Player Management, Members, and then you can click Trust Player. So after you click Trust Player, you can type in the username that you would like to trust. So if it was me, I would do don't mess with this. And it says I am already trusted here, but naturally it would invite some other player. And then that player would also have to type /lands accept and then the land name. So in my case, it would be Cool Jungle. This is what the player would have to type, the person that you were inviting, so your friend. After they type this, they will be successfully trusted to the land, and then they will be able to break blocks, edit things, build, take things out of chests, all the things. If you decide you would not like a player to be in your land anymore, you can untrust a player by using the the untrust player button, and then you would enter their name in the chat. You can also toggle the setting execute for all areas. So if you have multiple different areas or claims within your claims, you can turn this offer on for all areas so you can untrust or trust players for all specific areas. If you have this off, then you will have to go into each of the areas to trust the player that you would like to trust. If you want to just do it for all, then you would just enable this. If you have any issues with players, such as griefing, please report it within the Discord. Sometimes it happens. If you need to ban a player from your claim, you can. Same kind of thing, click ban player, add in their username, or you can unban a player from either specific areas or from your entire claim. Invites, so you can look at outgoing invites, players that you have invited to your land by typing /lands trust or by trusting them here. Membership requests, players can request a membership in land's list if they see your land and they find it interesting. Here you can either auto accept them or disable the auto accept. If you have it disabled, then you'll have to manually accept their membership request. You can also view the online members, who's online and playing right now, if you're curious as to who is playing. Some other settings that you might want to check out is relations. This is people whom you are allies or enemies with, and this can be great for the war system within the nations. You can see sent offers and then also received offers. You also will have levels. Levels are ways to upgrade your land so that you have better perks, and you'll need things like money within your land and then trusting additional players. You can also see your inbox. So, what's been happening within your land lately? Statistics. Statistics are settings or information about your land, things like how many chunks you've claimed, where it is, if it is a nation or if it's a part of a nation. You can also check your upkeep costs. So, currently, because I have 9 chunks claimed, I pay $9 every 1 day and 8 hours. I can also check the balance of my land. I would need to deposit money into my land claim to pay for the upkeep. To pay for the upkeep of your land, you would just type /lands deposit, the amount of money you would like to deposit. So in this case, I'll do $5,000. And then I would choose the land that I would like to deposit it to. So I'm going to choose Cool Jungle. And now I have $5,000 in my land bank. If I go back to my Cool Jungle land and I hover over the statistics, it shows that my land balance is now $5,000. If you would like to see your statistics without having to go into this menu, you can spawn your main block or your town bell. And this is going to have a hologram above it where you can look at statistics at any time. All right, so let's talk about areas within your land claim. You can split up your claim into different sections if you want specific players to have access to plots within your land claim. First thing you need to do is open up your land settings menu and then navigate over to the areas. We are going to create a new area, and I'm going to call this Shrub Corner. And then I'm going to set it up. I'm going to type /lands selection. The land selection is going to allow me to specify which area I want to assign to the shrub corner. So in order to do that, I'm going to need to right click one corner and then left click the next. This is going to make a cube. You can see these little particles that pop up here. These are the cubes. So everything within this little square right here is going to be assigned to the area. So now that I've finished selecting the area, I'm going to type /assign shrub corner confirm. And this is now Shrub Corner, and I can add players specifically to this area or the entire land claim. Also, additionally, if I open up my lands menu, go into the areas, I can click to manage this area, and I can add specific players into Shrub Corner. Also, you can change the settings based off of the specific area. If you want to have crops growing in Shrub Corner, but you don't want to have them growing in other places, you can specify that here too. There is roles, so you can have specific roles within Shrub Corner. Taxes, so you can charge players taxes to live here. Miscellaneous settings, so the name of the area, the description of the area, and then also the icon. Then there's also setup rental. Setup rental is if you want to sell this plot of land within your land claim to other players. So if I click this, it's going to ask me to select a sign in the area Shrub Corner. So if I give myself a dark oak sign and I place it down, I'm going to left click it, and it is going to ask me how long I would like to rent my area. I can choose 1 week and then how much they pay. So if I want to charge them $1,000 per week, then I would do that. If I wanted to change it to, $500, I would click remove 500 and now it's $500. Or if I wanted to be really expensive, I can just make it $5,500. You choose. And then you can also choose the max total amount of days that a player can rent the plot at once. And then you can change between rental and sell. So if you want to sell a plot, you can, or you can rent a plot. You would just toggle that by clicking this sign button. And then I'm going to click confirm. If you decide you do not want to offer this area for rent anymore, you can type /lands rent, remove offer, and then click enter. You also can remove tenants from lands if you would like to by typing lands rent remove tenant confirm. And then this would remove the tenant within the land if they were causing a ruckus or creating issues. Thank you guys so much for watching this tutorial. I hope it was super helpful. Please leave a comment and a like, and then also subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Let me know something new that you learned today with the land claims, and then also what your land claim is going to be.